Che Diaz has canceled their own podcast. There is no more X, Y, and me. Woo! Our long national nightmare is over. It's over. It's really over. We can go back to normal. I guess they're done with the podcast because they're making a pilot, which only takes a few weeks. And if you had a real podcast that wasn't a live radio show, you could bank a few episodes. But whatever. Grandmother's like, what's a pilot? And Miranda's like, I don't know. You don't know what a pilot is? Yes, you do, Miranda. And they've told Che Diaz, the studio in Hollywood said, you're the next Roseanne. And then Che has the balls to say, not the current Roseanne, the 1980s Roseanne. Bitch, you're not even as good as the current Roseanne when she's on Twitter saying racial slurs. She's still funnier than you. Now Miranda is gonna go with Che to California and just give up. Episode 10, it just, everyone gets back to basics. You know, Miranda's just like, I don't actually care about human rights. See you later. Carrie says to Miranda, in the exact conversation that Miranda had with Carrie when she was leaving to be with Alexander Petrovsky in Paris, Carrie's like, what are you gonna do in LA? Just laugh at someone? It's just like when Miranda said to Carrie, what are you gonna do in Paris? Eat croissant? You're in New York. You don't have to pronounce it correctly. It's not gonna offend anyone. Eat croissant? Is that even the right tense? Eat croissants? Is there not an S? Is there? Even if there is, say it improperly because it sounds normal to us. You know, we're not in Paris. Eat croissant, it haunts my dreams, you understand? Couldn't she have said pastries, profiteroles, drink champagne, eat croissant? It just sounds stupid, like I sound like an asshole. And I'm trying to be not the asshole in this scene, can we? But see, she's probably the one that wanted to pronounce it that way. Miranda's like, oh, I don't care about my human rights internship that I worked so hard to get. It's just like Cynthia Nixon, who's like, I didn't become governor in the first try. Guess I'm out of politics and making 2 TV shows now. No substance. I got chills at the end, spoiler alert, when Carrie said she does her own solo podcast with the producer. This is what they should have done episode duh. And when Carrie took calls on her podcast, not a thing. Michael Patrick King, you actually do a podcast. Are you so out of touch that you don't realize what you're doing? Yes, you can do calls on a podcast technically, but it's not live. It's just, can't you just read emails from people, just to talk to people? No one wants to hear the other person. Hello, I'm having trouble with love. Okay, so Carrie's ends the podcast. This is Carrie Bradshaw, and you're listening to Sex and the City. And I was like, yes, we're getting there. We're getting there. In the last episode, which could potentially be the last episode of the entire show, but we got to where we should have been in the pilot. You know, the thing that Miranda doesn't know what that is.